Casino, Culture Casino, Culture Casino, Culture Casino, Culture Casino,
Culture Casino.
Culture Casino,
Culture Casino.
Culture Casino, Culture Casino, Culture Casino, Culture
Ooh.
Casino.
High rollers after this. I hope you're ready.
Culture Casino, Culture Casino,
Culture Casino.
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 Culture Casino. Culture Casino. Culture Casino. Culture Casino. Culture Casino. Culture Casino. Culture Casino. Culture Casino.
Culture Casino.
Culture Casino. Culture Casino.
That's right, everybody. Good morning. It's a wonderful, wonderful Saturday out there. We're dividing our 2-hour window. First hour, we're going to be doing this show. That's right, the Saturday news update. And then we'll be doing the High Rollers stream right afterwards. In fact, we'll be platform switching as well as I go from EVMux over to StreamYard. So in the next couple of minutes, the High Rollers will find a post in the community tab that will lead you to where you need to go to join the show. And I'm actually excited. I love to do these. I do a High Roller stream this weekend, and next weekend is a member stream. Awesome stuff. And I want to tell you, I appreciate you. I want to show you I appreciate you. So I look forward to seeing you. Did I say yeah a lot? I did. All right, we got a lot. We got 3 stories to cover this morning, at least for this particular show, and I just want you to know that they're good stories. They're ones that will put into perspective a lot of things that are going on in Hollywood at the time, and what it actually means, and why I was so confident that Hollywood wouldn't get to $4 billion. But before we get into any of that, I have to acknowledge all the wonderful people who are here nice and early, and all the people who are terribly generous. That's right, terribly generous, meaning overly generous, meaning thank you. I want to say the early thank yous to Mark Fields, who sent 2 super chats. I want to say thank you to Ruby Hoove for a gifty and just a Dutchie with 5 Culture Casino memberships. That's a lot of gifties. And then, of course, our friend Weatherman for another gifty. Very, very generous this morning as the Culturians grow. That's right. And I appreciate you. Avarice Carmageddon's in the house. Good to see you. Marcelo is here. We've got Scott Somers out there. We've got the amazing Commander Ed Strakers of Shadow. That's right, Ed Straker. And the lovely Juliet from across the pond, who's always helpful. We've got the lovely Jill out there as well. The ladies are keeping us wrenched today, along with Walter Tomaszewski, who says, you might want to cover this from Billboard. $1 billion music piracy ruling threatens mass evictions from the internet. What? Supreme Court told. Really? I'll have to take a look at that. Can't cover something I'm unfamiliar with, but in the U.S., unless fraud is detected, companies are allowed to fall apart, and employees can seek employment elsewhere. That's true. I'm not sure why that's relevant, other than Disney could be falling apart. I'm watching some weird stuff. We've got 2 kind of why is this happening stories out there. Can't wait to talk about it. And thank you, Just a Dutchie. Thank you to everybody. Ruby Hoove, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are great. You really are. Your support's incredible. Mark Fields, thanks. super thanks for good morning, CC Wrenches and chat. Positive vibes to all. Positive vibes to you, Mark, and all your support, including this other $2 super chat that says, excited for the return of the late show. So am I, actually. There will be some slight changes to the original variety concept, but I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for it. Yeah, everybody's timing everything very well. And I hope everybody is doing very well. Mark is always thoughtful, and just a Dutchie, thank you so very much. The lovely Ruby Hooves Gifty is here, and it's amazing. Frank got that one, to be fair. And we ended up with Ruby Hoove kicking in a super duper chat saying, listening, have a great day, y'all. I hope you have a great day, Ruby Hoove. I'm always hoping you are having a great day. And there's just a Dutchie's 5. Culture Casino memberships, we got to say thank you again to the weatherman, who is right on time, right on the money, and well, I guess giving us money. So thanks for that. All right. Thank you for all the gifties. It's great to see the bulk of you out there. There's only one person that I see in the chat that is a little iffy this morning. That would be me. Barry the Music Man, good morning. And Cynthia Carter, hello. We got lots of people out there, including Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. It looks very Halloweeny. Is that what? Well, I don't recognize the emoji, so I'm sorry. Let's see what else was happening. We've got Jess Hart's theme parks. Awesome. Good morning. Another theme park channel. Amazing. Love it. You guys are great. I love all the theme park channels out there. We got a lot of them here. We got Carl Singh in here. Wow, Kenny Long's back. What's going on, Kenny? Good morning. And look at all these great humans. We are so blessed. Randall Orser's checking in from Canada, along with Lord Thoth. Good to see you, my friend. Please be safe up there. Stay away out of some fires. You guys keep starting fires up there. Don't do that. Find those people starting the fires and get rid of them. Palamise is here. Good morning, dear. I hope you're safe on the road along with the little one. We got Captain Fandom Nerd. Look at all you wonderful, wonderful people. All right, Tom, I want to say thanks for wrenching and everything else that you do on both platforms. And thank you for the Discord. The Mexican Iron Man is here saying hello and greetings to Culture Casino Nation. I'm up, but the white people here are still asleep. I bet they are, especially Tom. Tom does not get out of bed easy, my friend. But it's great to see you. And Brian and Cindy, hello. All right, let's get to it, guys. John, we're going to start. Let's take a look at this because we don't have a lot of time. And, I really need to start talking about stories. So let's start with 1 of 3 this morning. This one coming to us from Deadline. And Anthony over there at Deadline says, weapons owning Labor Day weekend with 12 million. Does that sound like owning something? 12 million. Is that a big, impressive box office number? For the 4th week, it might be, and I would probably agree. But summer's going to end, as I said, well below $4 billion. $3.6 billion, in fact. $400 million short. Close to even with 2024, but not so much. Not so much. It's really difficult for these people to talk about being wrong when they are so incredibly wrong. And they are. If you take a look at these numbers with the Friday afternoon update, Weapons is going to claim its third number 1 out of four weeks with a 4-day. Now, see, they're counting 4 days to get to these numbers, 12 to 13 million. Well, because it's a holiday weekend, right? Right. So 3,400 theaters. Looks like the stateside cum is going to be 135 million by Monday. So it's definitely going to topple the running domestic take of the original The Conjuring at 137. I think that's pretty easy to predict back in 2013. Also, let's talk about the difference in money, because they aren't counting inflation on purpose in any of these articles, and the worst offender is Collider. I actually have a story I may do on that for this coming week, so be prepared. Talking about all the Conjuring things as they grow. 2016 is The Conjuring 2 is 102. 2018 is The Nun 117. You can see they're kind of all over the place, but they're doing well. and the it was 328.8 million, which probably is the best of the bunch. As you can see here, there are a slate of films that are in theaters right now. You got Caught Stealing, and you've got The Awful, The Toxic Avenger. And on top of that, you've got the re-release of Jaws, which everybody is racing to see, and looks like The Roses are actually hitting theaters as well. But Weapons is the big winner, and there'll be a lot of displacement this weekend and a giant fail. What do you call it? Failbot, whatever you want to call it. But for Fantastic Four, the flop that it is. And you know what? I've come to grips with the fact that Superman underperforms so badly that there's no way that they could break even. In fact, I put that video out yesterday afternoon. But it's not really the story. The story is the fact that everything came up so short. Um, if you take a look at 1, 2, 3, 4, well, K-pop Demon Hunters Sing Along has got another 2-day box office. We'll have to see where that's at. Weapons is out there. Freakier Friday, Fantastic Boar, The Bad Guys 2. We'll have to see where things finish, but they don't have any of these numbers in for real, so we don't know quite yet. But it is what it is. I wasn't expecting much out of this weekend, and I doubt you were either. Are you guys going to see any of those things? Has everybody seen Weapons? Did you guys? Uh, are you interested in seeing Jaws again? Since it's a re-release for the anniversary. I mean, a lot of people might be. But we got a super chat while I was yammering away from our friend out there, Archer Merchant. Let's take a look at it. Says for 5 Culture Casino Cash. Says the answer yes, because failures of yes men upward or even laterally equals company doing downward. That's so true. You know, it's funny when you have people that are usually more superficially faced when it comes to the pop culture aspects of the culture war. But Brett Cooper is calling out Disney now for destroying 2 boy brands. It makes perfect sense. You know, when you have a bunch of people that say yes, if you have a toxic corporate culture like they do at the Disney studios, all of them, you're going to end up with terrible results. Somebody should be able to tell these studio heads they're destroying things. And that should be Bob Iger, but it's not. Somebody should be telling Kevin Feige that single-handedly he destroyed things since 2015. Truly. You had Brett Cooper actually cites the facts. When he took over the studio, the superhero teams were made up of by approximately 10%, 10 to 15%. And now the superhero teams are 45%. He's well on his way to creating a majority of female characters to male characters in the superhero stuff. And look, I love ladies. You guys don't get me wrong. The conversation is around the traditional heroes and the stories that were written for them prior to the takeover by comics by, well, the people with the oddly colored hair. And again, I don't mind odd colored hair. I think that's perfectly acceptable. In fact, sometimes it's fun. But at the same time, if that's part of your identity, that's an entirely other question. You know, outside of donating my hair, I don't do anything special to my hair. I just take care of it. Same thing with the beard. I don't dye my beard. Although I'm getting more vain as I get older, so that may happen. But I don't want to look like George Clooney, who looks out of place without the salt and pepper hair and beard, because everybody knows he's old. He's looking old. So again, set all that aside. If that's part of your identity, your hair color is a different conversation. And I think that's what we're coming up against, to be fair. But I think the fact that we didn't get anywhere close to 4 billion, predictable. And I really feel bad for Paul de Garabedian because he's one of the best prognosticators of cinema. He's almost always right. So the fact that he missed the over $4 billion number, that says a lot. James All Day's in the house. Says, why doesn't Disney revive Darkwing Duck? Oh, I love Darkwing Duck. Great animated film. A great, character, I should say. Animated film. Yeah, they could make an animated film with Brad Bird as producer and Jon Favreau as the director, and it would kick butt. I'm all for it. But I need it to be animated. I do not need a live action representation of Darkwing Duck, and neither do you. Yeah, that doesn't seem to work out well with the duck thing. And hey, check it out. It's a bear 71. See, somebody else likes bears. It's cool. Says, I have disposable income that I'd be happy to give to Disney or other studios in exchange for good movies. But alas, not a lot of luck in years. It's true. You know, I didn't go to a movie. I haven't been to a movie well, I guess this will be this full 2 weeks since I've been to a film. That's unheard of for me. I'm the guy that goes every weekend, or used to be anyway. You know, sometimes there's a big gap. There's a big gap. Did Alan Ing pose for this pre-show card? I don't know. But what I do know is, it's not just the theater's experience, not the theaters themselves, but the theater experience is falling apart because there's a lack of good content, as was just pointed out by A Bear. Everything's falling apart in entertainment. Everything did. This is a good question though from just a Dutchie. I didn't mind so much Beauty and the Beast live action. It was nearly a shot for shot representation of the animation. That worked out well. Again, if you stick to a shot to shot, you're more likely to get away with things. Aladdin kind of proved that, but I think you're always gonna have problems when you try to do animation to live action. It just doesn't always work. And let's see. I want to make sure I get everybody's comments here before I move on, because there is a lot more falling apart. Oh, Gorman would have been great to do something like that. It's like you said, it's really hard to do animation to live action, no matter what anybody says. Hey, Mavericks in the house. What's going on? Says Jungle Book live action. Jason Scott Lee was great. It was very well done. Very well done. A lot of people will make arguments for what was it, Cinderella? You can make arguments for a lot of the early stuff, but all of the new stuff you can't make an argument for. They didn't even try to represent the story well. They tried to change it and use messaging. That's not good. It's one of the reasons why it seems obvious to me that Disney pumped a bunch of money into the box office for the Lion King prequel, Mufasa, which was a terrible movie. Not good. Not good at all. Archer Merchant again for another 5 Culture Casino cash. Thank you, Archer. Saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 a couple days ago. A lot of people are loving it. And it's not showing up on the charts, which is weird. Yeah, and Tom would agree with you. It probably was great. They were also showing Clue in the evening. Young kids were loving it. Feels like theaters cashing in on nostalgia. You know what? They should, because that's where all the quality is. We don't have people in positions of power that have any merit. There are a lot of didn't earn it's out there, and it shows. You have a bunch of lack of creativity on display. Whereas you bring in something old like that, and I still think Clue is one of the greats. I remember seeing it in a theater, a huge crowd. We didn't have as many theaters back then. It was a huge crowd, right next to college campus. It was out of control. So there you go. But I can imagine that young people are enjoying it because they've never seen anything that creative before. I mean, and that was based on a board game, and it took it to a whole new level. Of course, the maid got murdered. That was a low point. And of course, she worked for the lady that owned the brothel. But hey, if you haven't seen the movie, I would say go see Clue. That's a good place to put your money. But we got to move on seriously because we've only got about another 30 minutes or so, a little more than that, before I have to run AOAO and run over to the High Roller stream, which will, again, be on this channel. And I think you all want to see that. Let's jump to the next story. Let's do that right now. As I said, things are falling apart. Clear evidence of that is already out there. But it's starting to hit the big things. It's hitting legacy programming and it's hitting legacy studios. Let's start with legacy programming first and talk about the Variety article that explains that SNL's been losing cast members left and right. This is a conversation between, other people in the sphere. Backstage, we talk about everything and some strange trends and some stuff and what they may mean. So I'm letting you in on a little inside baseball here. We've been talking about this, the fact that season 51, which I think is one season too many. Some people would say it's 30 seasons too many. Anyway, it's going to be getting rid of a ton of cast. And it wasn't the buildup to 51 or 50 that added all these cast members. They're in a position now where not only do they have too many people, they can't afford to pay them. So if you think SNL is a big show doing well, it's in the same boat technically as Stephen Colbert. You have a massive show, but you aren't making quite as much money on the advertisements. That's a problem. So there's a big shakeup in Studio 8H as a handful of Saturday Night Live cast members have left the show ahead of 51. And the exodus began on August 25. Devin Walker wrote on Instagram, sometimes his time on SNL was really cool, and sometimes it was toxic as hell. So then came the announcements from Emil Walker, Michael Longfellow, and Heidi Gardner, who exited NBC's sketch comedy show after 8 seasons. What does that tell you? They're clearing out the suckers. And it's not probably because these people were bad or didn't bring it when their skits came along, but their bits just weren't landing and they certainly weren't impressing advertisers because there isn't the same kind of crowd out there watching this show. SNL has, had bouts of funny, but it's not been consistently funny for a long time. So while some newer faces expressed sorrow over being let go, because that's exactly what it was like, whose butt can we kick out of here and save money? Apparently, several people. They may believe that this is done, or it may be to clear space for new additions as the show returns on October 4th. But I'm not sure that's the case. And if they do add back half as many people, they certainly won't cost as much because after 8 seasons, you're making a decent check. So a lot of them have bailed. This is Heidi Gardner. She was okay. This is Michael Longfellow. This is Devin Walker. This is Emil Joachim. They're gone. I still think there's room for more improvement and likely removal of even more people. But nobody's watching and people become expensive. And if they don't outperform what they cost, they don't have jobs. It's just that simple. Anyway, there's nothing lost there for me. I stopped watching SNL years ago. I only catch the bits that are newsworthy at this point, and otherwise, I just don't care. Lorne let the show deteriorate into a complete mess and disaster. So for me, it doesn't matter. I don't know what you guys think, but SNL hasn't been funny in 2 decades, not consistently anyway. And if you don't have a high quality guest every weekend that can actually carry the show, maybe, or an alumnus of some note or merit, why does anybody watch? Hey, Ghoster, welcome. Uh, bu- 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 Jan Monroe says SNL was great early. Now it's a political hack pretending to be comedy. Yep. Yeah, I think that's the other problem is it went too into politics. One political sketch a week made sense. It's the norm. But I just don't feel it anymore. There's no like Plimpton or frat humor. None of that stuff that used to make it greater that is there anymore. That's a problem. SNL is in no way the same show as it was in the 80s. No, or even in the 70s. Let's be honest. SNL equals Ghostbusters 2016 with Chris Hemsworth. That's probably an adequate comparison, I would say. Well done. So, very, very much a bummer. Yep, music sucks nowadays, and the musical guests are not good for the most part. Got to go out and grab a Rolling Stones or something similar to catch people's attention as a musical guest, let alone good music. The only thing that looks remotely good as far as films go, sorry guys, that one snuck up on me, is Sisu 2. I can understand that as well. Let's see. Pink Tea. SNL isn't good anymore. I agree with you. It's too bad. There was something there. The Doodah Man says, "Gotta go." Well, thanks for being here. Have a great day, all. You too, my friend. You too. Thanks for the stop. Ghoster. Hang on. Rewound. Well, I hope you can catch up. I'm trying to catch up with everybody. Britain says it's a nothing burger. Well, I think when you have that kind of turnover, it's telling. In fact, it's even more telling when it's in corporate leadership, which we'll get to in just a moment before we round out the show. But Randall says it was I was never really into SNL. Watched it occasionally when guest was interesting. I used to watch it fairly religiously. Coming from high school through college days, it was really important, and that importance wore off sometime around 2000 for me. But otherwise, I used to watch it all the time. Abears has been at the job for 28 years. Surprised they haven't kicked me out yet. Yeah, I well, I walked out the office willingly, but that's a different conversation. I just needed to retire. Uh, got a feeling Weekend Update will become its own show, and we will move on. Wouldn't that be great? Jost and Michael Che are genius. Pretty good, in my opinion. Asky is here. Hello. Mark, what's up, buddy? Says, like Disney, SNL chose to try to shape political opinion instead of catering to it and ended up doing neither, indeed, and shrinking their audience. It's always a bad idea, my friends, always. James Stewart's in the house. I was going to do a very bad Jimmy Stewart, but I won't do that. I was going to say hello to the old savings and loan, but I won't do that. What else is happening? Mickey, SNL just fired Heidi Gardner. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. So the show may actually be funny again. Well, they got rid of a lot of people, and I don't think they're done. And October 3rd is the new show, the new season. So we'll see, but I don't expect that. Yeah, the Rolling Stones sustained success and quality tells me they blocked Lauren's number at the end of the 20th century. Quite possibly. That's actually an observation and a half. Hey, it's Ram Bam 3000. Good to see you. And James Netzel says, hey, what's up, Mr. Casino? I am rolling. James, I am absolutely rolling. Hannibal Grimm, hey-o, homies, that's right. Hello to all the amazing culturians out there. Mark again says, I'm so old I remember when SNL banned Sinead O'Connor for tearing up a picture of the Pope and saying, fight the real enemy. So they are the real enemy. There you go. Nothing compares to you. I'm just saying. Nothing compares to tearing up a picture of the Pope. Yeah, Gilda Radner was genius. Genius. Tragedy what happened to her. Tender Warrior 68's out there in the audience. Good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is going well. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. But SNL isn't the only thing we got to talk about, because the last story that we'll get to during this portion of the show, or this show, before we move on to the next show, oh no, let's go to the high roller stream afterwards. If you are a high roller in the community tab, you already have access to that link to join us, and I hope you do. But we have Ian Bamhammer, what is up, my friend? All right, let's get to some of your thoughts on probably the biggest story, which I saved it for last on purpose. The exodus that's happening over at Disney. And this is by no means the two names I'm about to throw at you are the end of it, or even the beginning, because there have been some people leaving already out of Disney, and I'm just not surprised. If you're on a sinking ship and you happen to be one of the rats at Disney, you're trying to hit the exits. So Disney casting EVP Randy Hiller and production EVP Sam Dickerson exiting studio early next year. Well, why? Why? Why would their casting executive vice president, who's basically responsible for making sure that all the correct choices are made, why would they be leaving? And why would somebody involved in productions, let's say Snow White or any of these other things, why would they be exiting? Why would they be planning their exit? Why would they be part of like 8 or 9 people that are slinking out the door? Why is this happening? Well, the lack of success puts your job at risk, and if you move on before they have a chance to fire you and you put together dates that you're leaving, chances are they'll let you stay till you are announcing you're gone, and you'll be able to find another job in the industry at some point, or somewhere else, or at some other part of the industry at another studio. That's why. So when Anthony's reporting this, that Randy Hiller's gone, that these people are announcing this well early, that's it. Randy Hiller was the EVP for casting for Walt Disney Studios, 20th Century Studios, and Searchlight Pictures. So basically, all the brands that make movies that you might see, some are successful, like the most recent Planet of the Apes, and some are not, especially with Walt Disney Studios. But a 14-year run comes to an end. I think at the end of winter. And then for Sam Dickerson, 12 years at the studio, on the way out the door as well. So over 100 films Randy Hiller oversaw for the studios, including the live action Lilo and Stitch, the only winner of the year for Disney. Alien Romulus, Cruella, Rogue One. We're going on this apparently is the list of films not to make money, as well as the upcoming Devil Wears Prada 2 and live action Moana. We'll see how that works out. She also served as the casting director on projects such as Emmy-winning Rescue Rangers, which audiences didn't like very much, and the just released Freakier Friday, which may or may not be breaking even. Looks like it's probably going to break even, though. It's had 3 decent weekends here in the States. Whale Fall and The Hand That Rocks the Cradle are also in their wheelhouse. Disney's just not very good with horror films. 20th Century still has enough people there that they can do a decent job of. But that's a different conversation. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Hiller said working at Disney felt like winning the lottery. And when you start talking this way and you're not out the door yet, something's up. So I had the opportunity to work with incredible people on truly magical projects. Well, there you go. Dickerson worked on a large number of successful original films and live action reimaginings, including Mufasa. Well, that says a lot. Young Woman in the Sea, which nobody saw. Jungle Cruise, which was a massive failure and flop. The one and only Ivan. I don't even know how that did. The Lion King. Which one? Live action? Don't know. Timmy Failure. Anybody know that? Anybody heard of that? Probably not. Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales. The Jungle Book, which was okay. And The Finest Hours. So it's a mixed bag for them. And he was over at Sony Pictures for things like American Hustle, which I enjoyed, Battle Los Angeles, which was garbage, and Salt, which was extra garbage with cheese. So saying, my time at Disney has been extraordinary chapter in my career. Over the past decade, I've been honored to collaborate with visionary filmmakers, amazing talent, and talented colleagues who bring timelessness to life. Why is this happening now? Well, I'm almost certain Disney's going to scale back on executive positions and start the official process of retooling all the studios. Everything at the studios, if you haven't noticed, has been rather stale. And I don't think that Disney has a way to recover until they bring in new talent. Karen Owen says Ivan was so bad they pulled it from D+. Thank you, Karen. It's great to see you. Amazing contributions across all the channels. Thank you for that. Our friend Archer Merchant weighs in, says maybe fleeing DEI lawsuits or failures. You know what? Either of those is possible, my friend. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Additional love thrown our direction. And I want to say thank you to Eric K, who's arrived in time to hang out for a little bit. We got Tender Warrior 68 out there gifting 5 Culture Casino memberships. Thank you, Tender Warrior 68. Much appreciated. I'm going to have to remedy for my voice soon. I think I'm losing it. Rambam says, "Hey, culture, don't uh, punt Disney's evil on rats. Oh, put Disney's evil on rats. Okay, you're probably right, Rambam. Hey, it's Divining Dragon getting one of those wonderful memberships. I just want to say thank you to Tender Warrior once again for the 5 Culture Casino memberships. That really is helpful. Memberships are awesome, and I appreciate them. We've got, yeah, we've just got a weird thing happening inside of Disney. And I don't think Disney has within them the desire to change fully, not even partially. Lupus Felix in the house says, so many brands are failing. They are. They are. You know, American Eagle actually had to come out and say the vast majority of feedback on Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign was positive, and the negative garbage that you saw on social media was negligible. It's almost like we found something that can sell stuff. And it's not as simple as saying something like sex sells. It's that people missed beauty. Beauty sells. Elegance sells. High quality aesthetics sell. Anyway, back to what's going on at Disney. Disney's literally, I don't know if you've noticed, but their ranks are shrinking, but whether willfully or because people see the writing on the wall or because they've been warned. You're going to see layoffs across studios like crazy. Honestly, it's going to be wild. And the Rumble rant from our friend Weatherman says a lot of Hollywood is minimum effort. Yeah. And they are shocked that no one comes to watch their drivel. Also true. And thank you for that $2 rant, my friend. Randall says, I haven't watched Nisa 1 or 2. Not watching anything out of China. Taiwan I'll watch, but not the mainland. Indeed. Sorry about that. Coaster says, how many times are they going to remake Hand That Rocks the Cradle? 700. I don't know. But yeah, it was a TV movie. And in its heyday, yeah, I don't know. Lots of times. All they do is reload. Reload. Speaking of reloading, we got a super duper chat just a moment ago from our friend Lightning Sketch Productions. Says, is this a sign that a rebirth is close? Maybe. You know, and that's kind of the place where Disney should be. They should be looking for not some kind of a rebirth. They what they need is to become a phoenix. They need to burn up like Fulks and reemerge and begin again, trying to find that family entertainment spirit. But they hate families. They hate America. All of that is pretty clear now. So there's that. Oh, you never saw the original Freaky Friday film? That's well worth it. Disney really did create some wonderful original concepts. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that Haley Mills? Or am I wrong? Kenny Long says, if I had children, I'd take them camping and a trip to Universal Studios. That sounds great. Oh, also the zoo. Awesome idea. And SeaWorld. but not Disneyland or Disney World. A lot of people are making that decision. They're not doing it anymore. Can't blame them. Not at all. Just a Dutchie weighs in. Change requires recognition that something needs to change. Disney is not going to do that. Yeah, true story. And skill does sell, Jill. You're 100% right. So there's that. And you know what? Keep it real. Sydney Sweeney is classy, like San Diego. Although San Diego's not as classy as it used to be. Wild stuff. I don't believe that Wikipedia and others said about what Judy's neighbors are. The vibe is more that they're squabbling brothers since they keep telling each other to shut up. Yeah. Man, there's so much out there that is happening all at once that's that's telling you that things need to change. And until Cracker Barrel gets rid of their Rachel Maddow stand-in as their CEO and actually removes the neo-Marxist language such as culture and belonging, which is there now instead of DEI, um, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think that we're starting to see the fact that since we all know what their rebranding or renaming of things is, that's not going to hold up very long. You know, the culture changed dramatically. That would be weird. Dramatically, and the fact that a family member and the founder came out and spoke against what was happening at Cracker Barrel tells you an awful lot. And of course, Mark, you are correct. Disney has been taken over by a radical group. That's not great. Too big to fail, asks Humphrey Bear. Um, no, they do have a significant. This is a thing that most people don't realize because Disney is also a real estate company. I mean, they're obviously a theme park company and cruise line company and a studio company, but they're also a real estate company. You have to look at all the land that Disney owns. It's ridiculous. Not only that, all of the residences that they control through their Disney Vacation Club program. They're a hospitality company. They're a restaurant company. They're an awful lot of stuff, guys. And the construction company used to be a lot of stuff. I think we're going to need, honestly, I think we're going to need wholesale change top to bottom if you want to salvage Disney. Current board, not on board with that. Handpicked by the institutional investment corporations, and that screws everything. What I'd like to do to reform publicly traded corporations is to make it so that institutional investors cannot vote for board members. I know that sounds very strange coming from me, but I think the fact that they have that much influence and all of those board presidents are all about control, I think we need to look at adapting or adopting something like that. Well, at least have the federal government exploring why all of these entities are trying to make the housing market unaffordable for most Americans. They're doing the same thing for the theme parks. Pay KK off and make her retire. I wish. Ghoster says culture, belonging, organic, authentic, etc. These are the words that will make me say, okay, not listening to them anymore. Well, understood. But one of the biggest things going for at least my sphere on YouTube is authenticity. But I do understand in your terms and in your perspective why that's a problem for those things because they don't understand authentic. They don't know what that is. They don't understand organic at all either. They can use those words because as buzzwords, which they do, but organic diversity happens naturally. And in this country, if you have merit, you're going to have plenty of diversity. You always have. You know, once we got past 1967, you were already starting to shut the door on anything other than organic by merit, diversity, and success. But no, I understand because those are certainly buzzwords that you see in corporate garbage all the time. 100%. Oh, and community. Well, I sometimes still use the word when it's actually applied properly, but no, you're 100% right. That's a neo-Marxist keyword. That's why we have to use words like fellowship or sphere or things like that. I'm with you. We need to get rid of the commie bologna sausage factories. Thank you for using my terms, Putin. Yeah, Haley Mills was great. Certainly. Disney is a real estate company? Yeah, Tim. Consider this. Right now, they're putting up something very ugly. Might as well be another Ramada Inn or a La Quinta, like they did with the Polynesian Tower when they wanted to add to the area. That Poly Tower is actually for DVC is actually just real estate holdings. DVC, Disney Vacation Club members are buying into a unique style of timeshare for a 40, 50-year contract. I don't remember exactly which, but they jointly, it's basically you're buying a condo, a studio, a 1, 2, 3 bedroom worth condo. And you can scale between using a studio one time and a 2 bedroom the next time or whatever. It's a program that allows you to rent on Disney property and they charge accordingly. And then they charge you annual dues, which is supposed to pay for the amenities and other things at the property. But Disney has diminished their loving care of everything. They're homogenizing their rooms and, again, making them no better than staying at the Ramada down the road or, something similar. Courtyard. Um, Disney has diminished that experience, but they still obviously own the real estate. And when you turn your Disney Vacation Club membership back in at the end of your term, well, it's Disney's to resell. So very weird long lease, let's say, that applies to all the properties. So they're a real estate empire. They also own all of the land around Disney World and other places. In fact, they've sold that off occasionally. One of those items was for an area called Flamingo Crossing, which was picked up by somebody else and redeveloped in a different way. A lot of the land just off of property Disney used to own as well. And yeah, they did get rid of Reedy Creek, or I should say the governor and the state government did. But yeah. Culture and belonging versus clean restaurants and good food. I'll take clean and good food. Me too. Me too. I was talking about Judy's neighbors in Zootopia. Yeah, I love Judy Hopps. I really want this second movie to be good. Lightning Sketch Productions. You have no idea. but everything that I've seen and some accounts of people, I'm worried. Okay. I'm just worried. Yep. James Stewart is correct. Cracker Barrel founder Schlams woke CEO Julie Masino for rebrand disaster. Yep. Family not happy. There's no bueno. But we need to be bueno, and we need to be skipping on out of here, and I want to have time to play the full outro. Why? Well, because we have the High Roller stream coming up next, and I want to send you from here to there. And you want to go there because you get to hear from some of the people that you may not have met yet from the High Rollers. The High Roller stream is basically free flowing with respect to the rules that YouTube lays down. But for the most part, I'm letting the guests talk, and we can talk about things. Starting in about 7 or 8 minutes, we have Meet the High Rollers, and you will be automatically redirected there from here, and I hope you join us. So with that all being said, and thank you for all the new people here, I want to say you are also a Culturian, and if you elect to become a member, that's wonderful. The High Roller members, that's the top tier of membership on my channel. I think it might always be, although I might add one more top of that, but you really do make everything happen. So for those of you who gifted super chats and memberships and everything else, I just want to say thank you. And I hope you all follow us over to Meet the High Rollers. I want you all to have an incredible weekend. It is planting season around here, so I'll be spending a lot of free time doing that. But plan on 7 to 15 videos this coming week because I have 5 I got to record sometime today and start editing. So there's that. And all in all, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until I see you at the High Rollers in just a couple minutes, see ya. Oh, and AOAO. True story.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.